is about self-improvement. We're all trying to get as good as we can here, and our training partners are all here to help us. I would say that injury is the real enemy here, and to that end, we have some rules for rolling that are designed to keep us all safe. They're posted on the mat room wall, and several of them are self-explanatory. Focus on technique rather than explosive movement. If you don't know where you're going, but you go there hard and fast, that's where injuries happen, so focus on technique. Second, don't be a mat bully. We all know what one is, don't be one. Try to roll with folks that are of your same body type, size, but when you're rolling with people that are much smaller, much less physically strong, much less experienced, right, take the time to help cultivate the skills in them as opposed to just trying to win the round. Nobody wins training. That's pretty self-explanatory. The most important and most self-explanatory is when in doubt, tap, and when someone taps, let go immediately. Those are rules for safety that we all should know, and I know we all do. There's one that has come up a little recently where there's some confusion, which is do techniques that are legal at your belt level. This can be confusing because different techniques are legal gi and no gi, and different tournament environments have different rules. At some tournaments you can knee bar at blue belt, at other tournaments you can't knee bar until brown belt. Some tournaments allow certain techniques in the gi. There's a lot of different leg lock modalities, and here's the thing, competition is a part of jiu-jitsu, and we always want to do as well as we can under those competitive rule sets, but this is a long journey which is all about improvement, and so rather than focusing specifically on competition, I want us to focus on the practices that are going to make us as good as we can be over the long run, which means as healthy and safe as we can be. So what does it mean to do techniques that are legal at your belt level? There are 2 hard and fast rules, and then a few spectrum type of guidelines. Hard and fast rule, never ever crank on any submission. If you can't finish it slow, you should not be trying to finish it fast, right? If I have someone in an arm bar, I would way rather lose the arm bar and have my buddy be able to train again than go really hard on something that I'm not sure I have and cause an injury in one of my friends. So if they tap, let go immediately. Even if they're not tapping, never ever crank on any submission. Second, consent is key. Jiu-jitsu is a consent-based sport. And so everybody here is allowed to say no to any roll at any time, and they don't have to have a reason. That is expected. But when I talk about consent, you might ask, how do we get good at techniques that are not legal at our belt level? Because we teach techniques like heel hooks, like knee bars, like calf pressures, like toe holds, in classes where white belts and blue belts are. The reason for this is, once again, safety. Even if you're not doing that move offensively, I want you to be able to understand how to defend it. And I'll tell a story about why that is, but I want to make sure that the consent piece is first and foremost here. What that means is, if I'm a white belt and my friend is a blue belt, and we've just learned a knee bar, and that might not be legal for us. If we consent before the roll that, hey, we're rolling for knee bars, as long as we observe all those other rules, never explode into a submission, never crank on a submission. When they tap, let go immediately. Make sure both parties consent to what's going on, then hey, awesome, explore those knee bars. If you're a blue belt and you're about to get your purple belt, and you're like, I really want to start experimenting with heel hooks, or if you're in the gi and you're like, from a self-defense perspective, I want to make sure that I'm observing these things, even though heel hooks are never legal in the gi, as long as you and your partner agree on that before the round, no worries, as long as you're observing all those other rules for safety. So you might ask, if these are the rules we keep in place for safety, why do we teach techniques that are not legal at the belt level to the white belts, to the blue belts? Because everything is legal from a self-defense perspective. And you may never be a leg locker, you may never be a competitor, you may never be a person that does these illegal techniques, but I want you, if you are in a situation where someone does them to you, I want you to understand them so that you can defend them. I don't ever want you to rely on someone else's goodwill or what you are or are not wearing for your safety. We had a white belt go up into a tournament, and the white belt got caught in a heel hook. And the referee was a little confused about whether these were legal at the belt level. Spoiler alert, they are not. So he was in this heel hook for about a minute and a half while he was trying to communicate to the referee that this was an illegal technique. But while he was in that heel hook, he was defending effectively, so he was able to keep himself from being injured, even though he was in a situation that he shouldn't have been under the rules of the tournament. So that's why we show people techniques that won't be legal until later, because I don't want you to get a purple belt or a brown belt and be playing catch up for stuff you've never seen. That being said, defense is different than offense. And so as long as we keep in mind those principles, that it's all about safety and long-term health, that we're always trying to help each other and our training partners while we are training, which means injury is our enemy. And as long as consent is the watchword and we all know what we're doing during the roll, we'll keep each other safe and we'll